Other stuff, some stuff that he think I don't know about. He think he got one up on me. I don't know. He think he got a mold somewhere. I told him I got a mold.
The boxing world has been flipped upside down as shocking news emerges. Gervonta "Tank" Davis has been taken into federal custody following allegations of match fixing in his highly controversial fight against Lamont Roach Jr. What initially seemed like a bizarre and questionable decision by the judges has now spiraled into a full-blown scandal. Just days after whispers of a potential investigation began circulating within the boxing community, the situation has taken a dark and unexpected turn. With federal authorities now stepping in, the sport faces one of the biggest controversies in its history, leaving fans, analysts, and fighters alike questioning the integrity of the sport they love.
Hopefully the commission gets this right. It was a bummer not being declared the winner on a technicality that could be righted, that wrong could be righted, obviously, in different ways.
It all started with quiet murmurs, fans and analysts alike questioning the legitimacy of the Davis versus Roach fight. But things escalated dramatically when reports surfaced that referee Steve Willis had provided crucial information supporting allegations that the fight was, in fact, manipulated. The outcome had already raised eyebrows, as many believed Roach had done more than enough to secure victory, yet the official result was a majority draw. Critics pointed out several inconsistencies in the fight's officiating, fueling speculation that something far more sinister had taken place. Now, with federal investigators getting involved, it appears those suspicions were not only valid but may be part of a much larger and more troubling scheme.
So, I think Lamont Roach, I think he landed more punches throughout the fight. I think Tank was used to, figuring it out, having that slow start, figuring it out around the third, fourth round. And I think
From the moment the final bell rang, controversy erupted. Roach had clearly outworked Davis in multiple rounds, landing cleaner shots and dictating the pace of the fight. Many spectators and analysts believed he had earned a decisive victory. But then came the ninth round, the moment that turned everything on its head. In the middle of a heated exchange, Davis suddenly and inexplicably took a knee. The crowd gasped in confusion. Referee Steve Willis initially began the standard 10 count for a knockdown, but midway through, he hesitated, waved it off, and ruled that it was not a knockdown after all. That single decision changed everything. Had the knockdown been counted, Roach would have won the round 10-8, potentially swinging the entire fight in his favor. Instead, the fight ended in a draw, leaving Roach in disbelief and fans seething with frustration, demanding answers.
Oh no. What's your thoughts when you first heard it?
That they wasn't going to overturn it?
Yeah.
I mean, I expected that. I don't really see them doing that. Tank is too big of an attraction. New York, I felt like for a while.
The explanation Davis provided for his sudden decision to take a knee only added fuel to the fire. He claimed that his hair had been freshly styled with too much grease, and as the fight progressed, his sweat caused the grease to drip into his eyes, burning so intensely that he had no choice but to kneel in the middle of the action. The excuse was met with widespread ridicule from fans and experts alike. Fighters endure blood, sweat, and even broken bones in the ring, yet none simply stop and kneel during a fight. Roach was visibly furious after the bout, stating, "If you take a knee, that's a knockdown. That's just the rules." The ref started counting, so why did he stop? His team wasted no time filing an official complaint with the New York State Athletic Commission, demanding an immediate and thorough review of the fight and how it was officiated. But as the days passed, it became clear that this was no longer just about one controversial moment. It was something much bigger.
If you take a knee, you need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules.
If the bizarre officiating and Davis's questionable excuse weren't enough, an eerie comment he made to Roach on fight night sent chills down fans' spines. According to multiple reports, Davis leaned in and told Roach, "They ain't gonna give it to you." Initially, many brushed it off as the typical politics of boxing, where the more marketable fighter often gets the benefit of the doubt in close fights. But in light of the match-fixing allegations, that statement now holds a far more chilling implication. Did Davis already know the outcome before the fight even began? Was the result predetermined, leaving Roach with no real chance of winning, no matter how well he fought? These questions have ignited a massive scandal, leading federal authorities to launch a full-scale investigation into what could be one of the biggest match-fixing controversies in modern boxing history.
So to me, I thought I won the fight clearly. I thought I won a close fight. I thought I won a very competitive fight.
Okay.
I'm not saying I steamrolled him or whatever.
Federal authorities became involved after Lamont Roach's legal team enlisted high-profile attorneys to push for a deeper investigation into the fight's controversial outcome. Their concerns weren't just based on the in-ring action. They pointed to suspicious betting patterns leading up to the fight. An unusually large amount of money had been placed on the fight, ending in a draw, a rare result in professional boxing. This raised immediate red flags among investigators, who began looking into whether inside information had been leaked to gamblers who knew the outcome before the first bell rang. But the biggest bombshell came when it was revealed that referee Steve Willis had provided key information to authorities. An admission that changed everything.
It should have been a knockdown, one. So that's why I'm yelling at the referee, like, keep counting. Like, you tripping, keep counting. That's a knockdown. Because if y'all didn't notice, he started to count.
While the full extent of Willis's statements remains undisclosed, sources close to the investigation suggest that he confirmed external influences played a role in his officiating decisions that night. This revelation was enough for federal agents to take immediate action, leading to the shocking arrest of Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Though Davis has had his fair share of legal troubles in the past, this situation is unlike anything he's faced before. What started as post-fight controversy has now escalated into a full-fledged scandal with massive legal and career implications for the former champion.
He wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming there to fight.
If these allegations hold up in court, Davis won't just be looking at a suspension from boxing. He could be facing serious criminal charges that carry real prison time. The boxing world is already buzzing with speculation about what this means for his future. Some insiders believe this could mark the beginning of the end for Davis's career, while others argue that his powerful promotional team, led by Al Heyman and premier boxing champions, will do everything in their power to protect him and keep him fighting. However, even if he avoids jail time, the damage to his reputation may be irreversible. A stain like this on his record could permanently tarnish his legacy, making it nearly impossible to regain the respect of fans and the boxing community.
Like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up. So it wasn't really hard for me to focus because all I had to do was do.
Social media has erupted with reactions to the breaking news, with fighters and boxing personalities weighing in from all corners of the sport. Davis's longtime rival, Devin Haney, wasted no time mocking him, posting, "Damn, first he fakes injuries to duck fights, now he's fixing fights? Ain't no way y'all still rocking with this dude." Oscar de la Hoya, a vocal critic of Davis, chimed in with a scathing tweet, "I've been saying it for years, Tank is protected. The truth always comes out." Even respected boxing analyst Teddy Atlas, known for his no-nonsense approach, called the situation a disgrace to the sport. The backlash is growing by the hour, and it's clear that this scandal isn't going away anytime soon.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw all the negativity and people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top dog.
To make matters worse, the fallout has already started affecting Davis's career in real time. His name has been removed from multiple boxing rankings, with Ring Magazine officially dropping him from their prestigious pound-for-pound list and replacing him with David Benavidez. The consequences could go even further. If the investigation uncovers more damning evidence, there's growing talk that the New York State Athletic Commission may move to void the fight result entirely. If that happens, Roach could be declared the rightful winner, stripping Davis not only of his victory but potentially of his championship belts as well. If convicted, Davis wouldn't just lose his status as one of the sport's top fighters. He could lose everything.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
It just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport. So,
as Gervonta "Tank" Davis sits in federal remand, awaiting his next legal hearing, the boxing world is left wondering, will he fight his way out of this, or is this the moment that ends his career? The stakes couldn't be higher. If the feds have enough evidence to formally charge him with match fixing, Davis won't just be facing a suspension from the sport. He could be looking at serious jail time. Comparisons to past boxing scandals are already being made, with some drawing parallels to Floyd Mayweather, who was long accused of using his influence to sway judges and referees in his favor. But while Mayweather was never caught in anything this severe, Davis may not be as lucky. If the allegations hold up in court, this could go down as the biggest match-fixing scandal in modern boxing history, one that could permanently taint Davis's legacy.
He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning, and when I feel like
12. Gervonta Davis finds himself in deeper trouble than anyone expected, and now the boxing world is split. Can he recover from this scandal, or is his career permanently damaged? Among those weighing in is Rolando "Rolly" Romero, a former Davis opponent, who seems to believe Tank has what it takes to bounce back. Speaking with The Ring, Romero suggested that Davis has the ability to make adjustments and win in a rematch, even adding that Roach's performance was so unexpected that even Roach himself might not have seen it coming. But that statement immediately raised eyebrows. Was Romero implying that Roach's success was a fluke? Because if there's one thing boxing fans and analysts have agreed on, it's that Roach was the better fighter that night. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a one-off. He earned that performance.
Tank, you lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw. And they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost.
The reality is simple. Roach outboxed Davis and would have won had it not been for the questionable officiating. Now, with Davis under federal investigation for match fixing, Romero's comments carry an even deeper weight. By framing Roach's performance as some rare, unrepeatable feat, was Romero trying to subtly discredit him? Because what Roach did in that fight wasn't about luck. He controlled the pace, dictated the exchanges, and exposed vulnerabilities in Davis's game that had never been tested before. Romero, whether intentionally or not, may be protecting his own reputation by downplaying Roach's performance. After all, if Roach, a fighter many never considered elite, was able to push Davis to the limit, what does that say about Romero, who was knocked out by Davis in the 6th round of their fight in 2022? The fallout from this scandal isn't just affecting Davis. It's forcing everyone who fought him to reconsider what really happened in the ring.
If people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night and with Cruz.
Intro 14. One of the most controversial takes on the fight came from none other than Rolando "Rolly" Romero. When asked about the bizarre moment where Davis took a knee, Romero didn't hold back. None of the punches hit him. That single statement is damning. Davis had claimed that he went down because sweat mixed with hair grease dripped into his eyes, causing unbearable burning. But if Romero, a fellow fighter who has shared the ring with Davis, says that no punches landed, then why did Davis go down at all? That question still has no clear answer. Even more suspicious was the referee's reaction. Steve Willis initially began a count, as if ruling it a knockdown, before suddenly stopping and waving it off. That one decision changed everything. Romero himself admitted that if the knee had been officially scored as a knockdown, Davis would have lost the fight. That moment was the difference between Roach winning and the fight ending in a draw. But let's get real. Was it really just an officiating mistake, or was something more sinister at play?
Is it being thrown? It has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation for me. Like, there was a lot of people in boxing.
What Romero didn't say in his interview is just as telling as what he did. He completely avoided mentioning that Davis's name is now at the center of a federal match-fixing investigation. He didn't address the fact that Davis allegedly told Roach before the fight, "They ain't gonna give it to you," a statement that now seems chilling in hindsight. He ignored the growing controversy surrounding the unusual betting patterns, where massive amounts of money were placed on a draw, one of the least common outcomes in boxing. Instead, Romero focused on the idea that Davis simply had a tough night and would make the right adjustments for a rematch. But how can Davis even think about a rematch when he might be facing criminal charges? That's the real question. Another former opponent of Davis also weighed in on the situation, Ryan Garcia. Speaking to ES News, Garcia stated that he believes Davis will win a rematch, arguing that Tank just underestimated Roach and expected him to fold. But that statement only raises more questions. Why did Davis expect Roach to fold? The most obvious answer? He thought he didn't have to fight with urgency, because he knew something the rest of US didn't. If Davis believed before stepping into the ring that the decision was already in his favor, then of course he wouldn't fight with the same intensity. Of course, he wouldn't prepare the same way. And that's exactly what played out in the ring. Davis fought without urgency, without the sharpness we're used to seeing from him. When Roach refused to back down, Davis looked lost, almost confused. It was one of the worst performances of his career. Garcia's explanation that Davis was simply caught off guard doesn't fully account for what happened. The bigger question remains, was Davis's confidence in the outcome based on pure arrogance, or was it based on something far more calculated?
Who is the dude? Who is the dude?
Adding another layer to the controversy is the $250,000 bet between Roach and Davis before the fight. Davis bet 6 figures that he would knock Roach out, but when the fight ended in a draw, there was no word on whether he ever paid up. If he hasn't, that raises an even bigger issue. Why would Davis be willing to risk that much money on a specific outcome, all while allegedly having inside knowledge of how the fight was going to end? That alone raises massive red flags. And if Davis truly believed he was going to get the knockout, why did he fight with so little aggression? Why did he take a knee at such a crucial moment? None of it makes sense, unless you start looking at the bigger picture. For Roach, the rematch is already a done deal. Whether it happens in 2024 or 2025, both sides have expressed interest in running it back. But let's be honest, how can a rematch be fair if the corruption surrounding the first fight isn't fully exposed? If Davis is found guilty of match fixing, how can anyone trust that the second fight won't be manipulated as well? And more importantly, should Davis even be allowed to fight again? If he deliberately tampered with the outcome of a professional fight, shouldn't he be permanently banned from the sport? The worst part about all of this is that it's not just affecting Davis, it's damaging boxing as a whole.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again.
If one of the biggest names in the sport, Gervonta Tank Davis, is involved in a match-fixing scandal, then this is bigger than just one fight. This is another massive hit to boxing's credibility. And unlike past controversies, like Floyd Mayweather hand-picking opponents or Canelo Alvarez benefiting from questionable scorecards, this isn't just bias or politics. This is outright corruption. If Davis is guilty, then boxing has a real problem, one that threatens the sport's integrity at its core. Meanwhile, Davis's team is scrambling for damage control. Despite being in federal remand, his camp is working overtime to shift the narrative. They want fans to believe that this is just another case of Davis being unfairly targeted, just another chapter in the long list of controversies surrounding him. But let's be honest, at what point does a pattern become undeniable? From legal troubles to run-ins with the law to now being under federal investigation, this isn't just bad luck. It's a reputation built on chaos. Right now, Davis is fighting 2 battles, one in the courtroom and one in the public eye. And if he loses either of them, his career may never recover.
Can
you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the.
Right now, Davis is losing both battles, the one in court and the one for public perception. Even if he somehow gets out and the rematch happens, his reputation is permanently stained. No matter what he does in the ring, there will always be an asterisk next to his name. And if he does win the rematch, critics will just say it was another fix. But one fighter has come out of this controversy looking better than ever. Lamont Roach Jr. He may have been robbed in their first fight, but he's won something even bigger, respect. He was the underdog, the guy who wasn't supposed to stand a chance. Yet he exposed one of boxing's biggest stars. And now, no matter what happens in the rematch, people will always remember the night he made Gervonta Tank Davis look beatable.
You know it's time.
Can't wait.
You know it's time.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. You know it's time.
Can't wait.
After the controversial first fight, which ended in a majority draw, Roach Jr.'s promoter, Gary Jonas, has made it clear, negotiations for the rematch are almost finalized. While he didn't reveal all the details, Jonas stated that the fight is very close to being a done deal. In his own words, "In my mind, it's a done deal. There are just formalities." That statement alone is enough to set the boxing world on fire. Fans are now waiting for an official announcement, but at this point, it seems inevitable. The rematch is happening.
Nah, to be honest, I've really made it competitive, for real, to be honest. But for sure, Lamar's a great fighter. He got the skills, like I said.
Jonas also pointed out something crucial: Davis's mindset. You got Gervonta, who's probably going to be angry, probably woken up, probably more focused. That's a major shift from where Davis was mentally before the first fight. Back then, he was talking about retirement, acting like he had nothing left to prove, and barely even promoting the fight.
We literally saw the mental breakdown of Tank. Like, again, if you got that elite level wide, you know what you saw. He was intimidated by Roach, and it was like baffling to see. Why was he moving? Because to me, he was intimidated by Roach. To me...
But this time, he doesn't have the luxury of being complacent. His undefeated record may still be technically intact, but his aura of invincibility? Shattered. Now, Davis has no choice but to come in fully focused. Anything less, and Roach Jr. could do what he nearly did the first time: walk away with the WBA lightweight title.
You can't count on Tank to get tired, because his conditioning is out of this fucking world. He can fight 20, 30 rounds if he wants to. 12 rounds ain't shit. Tank can go. So, yeah, Lamont, he didn't do enough early.
Of course, it wouldn't be a Gervonta Davis fight without controversy. The first bout between these two wasn't just competitive, it was filled with questionable decisions. But none were bigger than what happened in the 9th round. That's when Davis took a knee out of nowhere. Referee Steve Willis initially started counting, signaling a knockdown. But after some pleading from Davis, Willis stopped mid-count and allowed the fight to continue. Had he finished counting, Roach Jr. would have won by unanimous decision and become the new champion. Instead, the fight went the distance and ended in a draw, an outcome that left Roach Jr. and his team furious. Roach's team wasted no time filing an appeal with the New York State Athletic Commission, arguing that Davis's knee should have been ruled a knockdown. The commission acknowledged that Willis made a mistake, but ultimately refused to overturn the decision. That only made things worse, confirming what many fans already suspected: the system is rigged in favor of fighters like Davis. Roach Jr. took to social media to address the situation head-on. Responding to rumors that he was suing over the result, he wrote, "Look man, I'm going to tell y'all straight up, I ain't sue nobody. STFU. My team submitted an appeal on my behalf. What does it look like not having a team that doesn't pull that trigger on some S***T they know was wrong?" That post tells you everything you need to know about how Roach Jr. feels heading into the rematch. He believes he was robbed, and now he's coming back with even more motivation. The first time around, he wasn't supposed to stand a chance. He was just supposed to be another name on Davis's resume. But now, he's the man who exposed Gervonta Davis. And this time, he's coming to finish the job. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one. This version keeps the tension high while making the narrative flow.